Alrighty guys, so this is a toy, oh god, what's his name again? Lightning McQueen from Cars 3, I think 2019 build, not too sure. Lights and sounds, obviously it's not working at the moment, there are no batteries in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to fix this today. So I've got my handy dandy toolbox on the side, and we're going to be fixing this one today. I'm going to be walking you through the process on how I fix it. Now, first thing we like to do here on this channel is just test the batteries, because that's where most of the problems are with these things. So we put the batteries in. If it works, happy days. If it doesn't, then yeah, so that button's stuck, but otherwise it's not working. There's no lights coming out the front, no lights coming out the back, no, nothing. So we're going to be fixing this today. I've got a bunch of tools that I'm going to be using. I'm going to show you guys how to use them as well as we go along. I think this is a pretty simple fix. Hopefully it is, but I haven't looked at it. So yeah. First thing you're going to want to notice is take this off the cover plate, screw. That screw just goes in there. We'll deal with that later. There's two holes there, 1, 2, and then there's two here, 1, 2. You're gonna unscrew both these holes, but try to make this as a universal tutorial as possible. This is how I start everything. Just open it up, see what you can find, and yeah, do everything. So now we can confirm that there's no output coming in this. We can come to two conclusions. One, the circuit is not complete. Or two, something has gone terribly wrong. Or two, it's just the coils that the car just needs to be washed and the coils have rusted. Now, do make sure you take the batteries out, because they are dangerous. They can cause, well, they won't cause a fire, not these ones. They're too low voltage to cause a fire, but do take the batteries out. That goes for anything electrical. Take the batteries out. Don't be stupid. You can get hurt, or you can be at risk of getting hurt. I mean, you're not necessarily going to get zapped with like these ones, but do take care with these. Screw's a bit stuck. Just got this last screw at the bottom, or the front. Once all the screws are out, this should just lift up, which it does. Good. It's a good sign. And there you can see the button and the spacer there with the screw. That cover is useless for now. So just going to chuck that aside. Now we're inside the car. Got a motherboard here, button here, with this rubber thing on top. We've got a bunch of wires. They do look pretty old and weathered away. This car is from 2019, which makes it 7 years old. Wow, 7 years old. Crazy. I don't think things lasted that long. But yeah. So what we're going to do is we're just going to inspect. So I'd suggest working from the back to the front, just because that's where most of the visible screws are. So we're going to grab this piece. Now I think this is what's holding most of the parts in. That and the screws that we just took out first. That and the first two screws we took out. So we're just going to remove that, and that all comes off. And that's the lights. So the lights are just a clear plastic thing. Yep. And then behind it are these actual LEDs. Two little globes there, which is cool. That's cool to see. And well, that's a problem. That's not connected to anything. So that solves our sound problem, but it doesn't solve our light problem just yet. We'll have to do some more digging, but we'll definitely come back to that. Second thing I'm going to want to do is take out the motherboard. Well, don't now with any motherboard, never just rip it out. If you can, disconnect cables. If they're soldered on like they are here, don't disconnect them. Just lift it up, inspect what it's connected to. Notice that there's a broken wire, and try and figure out what that wire is connected to. So we've got now that brings us to the problem. We've got a broken wire. That's not good. What the fuck is that? Is that tape? Must have. Yep, that's tape. Okay. So that explains that problem. What we're gonna do. Now, I want to take this front bed off just so I can clean it later, but it's a bit stuck on. Now, if you ever notice panels stuck on like this, it's probably a good thing to leave them alone. But, yeah. I'm going to take this off, but I wouldn't recommend taking it off. Alright, so I just got this off. How I did that was I just was on there. I just took a little screwdriver, flathead, just wedged it under there until I heard a click or a snap or whatever you want to call it, and it just came off. It did come off. There's no breaks or anything. Didn't snap off. Then you can just push in, and this light thing should just pop out, which is good. And you've got these little clear lights that just come out too. And again, that's just all clear pieces. These are all plastic, by the way. These can be washed very easily. Now, for the body, we can see we've got the lights here. Everything seems to be connected. When we flip it upside down, you can see the blue and red, the white and orange, the white and yellow, blue and orange, white and orange, green and orange. Color coded for everything. And then we've got this red one which connects to the battery, which explains why we're having some wire problems. So back to electrician mode. We grab wire cutters. These are standard grade. They should do the job. Well, you hope, but they might not. This wire is quite short for wire cutters, I do think. So I might not use those actually. I might grab some handy dandy pliers. Now, the thing with sheathing a wire like this is you just gotta crimp. You gotta hold it with a little bit of force, not too much. And it should just come up like that. Although these wires are quite old, so they might not crimp very well. Yeah, might need to use the wire pliers. So, how do you use pliers? Well, say you've got a wire like this, and you want to connect it to something, or solder it, or whatever. What you do is you take your plier, your wire cutters. These are standard grade. You thread them through this side, and then in the middle, you push down hard enough, and it'll just do it for you like that. Then you've got this all these cables and stuff all exposed, which is really good for when you want to cut and stuff. And you can do this more than once if you want. If you don't think you got enough there, you can do it more than once. Just make sure they're red. And yeah, it works pretty well. So that's what I use for wire cutting. Works very well all the time. And yeah, that's hopefully a quick explanation. I just grabbed the random cables that I could cut because I knew I could throw it away. Anyway, back to this. So we've got this now. The wire, the copper of the wire is very exposed now, which is good. That's what we want in this, after all. So now that the wire's exposed, what we're going to do is we are going to take the metal thing here. And that brings us to another tool of this operation. A lot of tools here. Soldering iron. How to use a soldering iron? Very, very carefully. That's the thing. Very, very carefully. These things are very dangerous as well. They can get up to 200 and, well, actually they can get way hotter than that depending on the model. Mine only goes up to 218, which is probably a good thing because you don't want it going up any higher. Solder is a alloy metal, melts pretty well. It's supposed to melt easily. It's 2% flux, 40% lead, and 60% tin, which is pretty cool. This is what solder looks like, solder wire, and this is a soldering iron. They are pretty cool and dangerous. So what you do is, once this heats up, which it's not because it's unplugged, touch the tip of your wire to the metal and push that down. But you need one more thing to get the wire to stick, which is, so now that we've identified the problem, we box up all our stuff that can be washed, and we put everything else away. And just make sure you keep all the parts together in a box. I've got this cardboard box down here with all the parts in it. I'm gathering them up as I'm talking. Just grab the hood, top chassis, and yeah, that's all the parts for that. You could if you wanted to, but I'm not gonna bother because those wheels are a bit, don't look like they don't really want to budge. So I'll see you guys in a sec. So this is what you need to clean. You need any type of these. Definitely this because it's non-conductive. Not that that matters because it's just plastic. You can have it. White vinegar, very useful. And probably should have used that on the circuit board cleaner. But yeah, and then you'll need these as well. That's all you need for that. Alright, chat, so this is what we're dealing with today. We've got the box of parts that I boxed up yesterday. Alright, so as you can see, I'm just gonna put the plug in and we're just gonna start dumping stuff into the sink, or willy-nilly, doesn't really matter. Just make sure, again, no electronic parts are in there. Once that's in there, and then yeah, also remove the sticker parts. That's also important. But yeah, so we're just gonna dump some vinegar in there that we grabbed from earlier. Yeah. And then we're just gonna grab a bottle of isopropyl and we're just gonna, maybe a little bit, no, we're just gonna dump that shit in there. Just dump that shit in there. That is a very expensive bottle, but and then we're just gonna run the hot water on it. I probably should have made sure the water is warm beforehand, but doesn't really matter too much. Although you don't really want it burning your hand, but you want it warm enough that like it is gonna, all the chemicals are gonna melt around in there. Just yeah, just get it sort of flowing and stuff. Just sort of checking everything. Cool. So then we're just gonna, then you just want to wash the parts like how you would anything else, just sort of scrubbing them with the water. Then we do have the cloths as well. I am using my hands, but yeah, I might just grab a cloth. Good idea. And then I am just scrubbing it with the cloth, using that, just because this part is a sticker part, so you don't want it getting too damaged, but at the same time, you want it cleaned, which is good. dry cloth. So just like that, all the parts are cleaned. So we're going to box them up and we're going to take them back. So I've got all the parts laid out on a dry rag. We're going to let them dry and we'll come back to them tomorrow. And tomorrow I will reassemble Lightning McQueen. Alright, so I've got the solder plugged in. Everything's all ready to go. So we're just going to wait for it to warm up. So how you know if it's warmed up is if you can take the solder, you see all that smoke come off of it, tells you that it is ready to be used. So you turn the car over to where it is, and first thing you do is you heat that up. You've got that on the wire. It's best to use pliers here, but I don't have that luxury. So we're just going to go in very carefully. Just hope I don't burn myself. Now you do actually need to melt the solder that you want it to stick to. Might need to wait a bit for it to heat up, which is fine. Fuck, I forgot about this. Okay, so I just soldered it. As you can see, it's working now, which is good. The speaker is still not connected to it, and I bagged up all the parts. Do make sure you do that. So what you need to solder is you need soldering wire, a desolderer wick, and you need a soldering iron, of course. What you do is you cut the wire, and then you need to heat up. You need to wait for this to heat up. Once that's heated up, you stick it in there on that metal thing, and then you put this to the soldering, cover that in solder wire. Once that's covered in solder wire, you take that, and you take the end of the wire and you put that on the end of it, and then it should just stick, and everything should just come out nice and put together, which is the end game. Now this is fixed almost. We have light, which is good. I did put the batteries in just to check it, but what we need now is the sound, and the voice box is here, which is good. I don't need to order a new one. We just need to attach that, so we're going to do that now. So first thing you do with anything is inspect it. Also, something cool you'll note is that the voice box is actually magnetic, which is kind of cool, I guess, but not really important when you're looking at fixing stuff. But yeah, that's cool. It's magnetic. Anyway, I'm going to put these screws back in this bag, and we're going to have a look at the issue. Alright, this is what we've got. This little thing is cool. Looks pretty dirty. It's got that copper wire. Ah, there we go. Soldering buds there. So I've got to figure out, 1, where it goes, 2, what wires connect to it, because so far it looks like we've got a closed circuit, which is what you want to a point. Unless that just goes there. Alrighty, so I figured out the problem here. So what you want to look for on your motherboard is anything that like looks remotely like it could have something to do with. So you see how it says here, SPK speaker. You've got 2 dots here, and then you've got the soldering points here, 4 of them. Now you've got to figure out which is the soldering point. That is the hard part now. I think it would be the outer ones, as they look like the most easiest to solder, but it could be any of them. So we're going to try the 2 outer points, and we'll see how we go. This might take a while though. Yeah, so I figured out the problem. All I had to do was get 2 spare wires off of a spare roll, solder this wire to there, that wire to there, this wire to here, this wire to here, and now when I turn it on and put batteries in it, it works. The speaker quality probably isn't the best, but it is a 7-year-old toy, so it is pretty good. Now that we've got all the electronics working, we can go work on something even better, such as cleaning the plastic parts, which is a nightmare. Alrighty, so we've come to the end of the video, the best part of the video where we actually get to fix Lightning McQueen permanently. So first thing, I'm going to take the bumper, we're just going to put it there at the front. In fact, I'm going to put you guys up here, all the way down here, so you guys can see for yourself what I'm dealing with. Now, last thing we removed was the bumper, so we're going to put that back on like that. We're just going to clip that back in there, and that's just going to go in there like normal, and that should be, let's do a check. Now we're going to turn this to the back. Take this piece, we'll just put it in there like that, and hopefully that should be covered. Do another check. Lots of lights and sounds. Now, another thing I forgot to do was put this on, so we're going to snap that off again. Put that on like that.
Coming through.
One final check before we put this on. This top piece on. Just smack that on down like that. Now the fun part, we just have to screw in 4 screws plus 1 for the cover, for the battery cover. Not even the right bit.
Ready and raring. Best feeling in the world.
So as you can see, Lightning McQueen is 100% fixed now. Lights and sounds.
Hey, whoa! All wind. All beat storm.
I cleaned him up a little bit. Obviously there's a lot of damage here that can't really be fixed because the stickers and stuff, but did my best. This is more an electronics repair anyway than an actual clean. But this just shows you, hopefully this shows you what we do here. We fix things.